Really awesome to have you here. Give us a little background on yourself. How in the world did you get started with international real estate?
Yeah. So I guess, Michael, as you gathered from the accent, I'm Irish. I guess I got started in real estate in my home country of Ireland and my home city of Cork. Pretty soon out of college. That pretty kind of standard route. Did a finance degree, went into the corporate world, started buying and to some extent flipping some homes. I got in at a moment in Ireland where Ireland was just on this stratospheric trajectory of economic transformation and real estate values soaring. Everything was up, 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 and then at a point, kind of two things are a convergence of events kind of hit me at once. I got very drained of or tired or disinterested in the corporate world, and I started looking around for other opportunities. And it became apparent to me that Ireland was looking very fragile, very frothy. Just values were just too high. This was the peak of the Celtic tiger. I was getting offers for homes that I had bought, 18 months, 3 years previous for multiples of what I paid. Valuations didn't make any sense. And then I started talking to the guys at International Living, and this was back kind of late 2003. And they were based out of, and still are based out of, Waterford, which is a little city in the southeast of Ireland. And they said, well, why don't you strap on your boots? We need someone on the ground in Panama and Nicaragua and Brazil. So within 2 weeks of starting, I was in Panama, and I was on the road and pretty much have been on the road ever since.
That is amazing. So, what did they ask you to do? Like, what did you end up doing when you're in these foreign places?
Yeah, so initially it was to identify real estate projects that would be suitable for international living readers to consider buying into. So initially it was looking primarily at markets and developments, and then maybe inviting developers or marketing groups to come and participate in international living conferences and events. From 2008. Since 2008, I've been writing my own publication, which is published by International Living, called Real Estate Trend Alert. And that's a much deeper dive on big macro ideas, places where we can buy by getting out ahead of major events, big path of progress events, opportunities to buy in crisis situations. So we take a much deeper dive, identify places where there is opportunity, and then drill down on the best way to play those opportunities.
So, why even consider international real estate? I mean, you could arguably say U.S. has the best real estate market and has been the best real estate market, with the exception, of course, of 2008. But why should someone consider even investing in international real estate?
Yeah. So, Michael, I mean, my take is that if you think back through your lifetime, if you look at maybe what are the biggest buying moments plus places. So, you think back, say, you were in the States in 2010 to 2012, let's say. The thing is, when you go international, a set of circumstances like that is at play somewhere always. So when the world is your oyster, you can really identify places with, really, really significant upside potential and coming at those big buying moments. And then the second idea is that, let's say I go to the States. I mean, I'm competing with a gazillion other guys like you. You take your capital and your smarts and your know-how and you bring them to another market. It's a thinner playing field in a way that we can work to our advantage.
So, but you also have to learn a lot probably in the structuring and the financing side and all of those metrics. How do you speed up the learning curve in that instance? So let's say you find a deal and it's in Zimbabwe, okay, and there's a whole another land that you don't understand, and you have to get caught up on that. What are you guys doing to kind of speed that up?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess what we do, me and my team, we're on the road, we're learning, So, I mean, I guess we've created this kind of this body of institutional knowledge that means that when we go into a market and when we make recommendations to our readers, that they have the benefit of that research. In your case, Garrett, what you would need to do, say as an individual, maybe looking for bigger scale deals, is to find a trusted partner on the ground. So this is a beat where you're going to want to bring very specific know-how, but you need that local knowledge. You need that understanding of how things work. Now, by and large, you can go to places that are a pretty simple one step removed from your core market. So, for example, I spend about 4 to 5 months of my year in Cabo San Lucas. So that is a market that's extremely Americanized. It's a market where English is pretty much the business language. It's a I won't say very well. It is a very familiar environment, and your tenants too will likely be American. So let's say you were doing a deal in Cabo San Lucas, you might look for an apartment complex where you would do a mix of maybe short-term vacation rentals and some longer-term rentals to remote workers or expats looking for a base for 6 or 9 months. So you're not making too dramatic a step away from your home beat. On the financing side, forget it. You're going to need for deals like this, you're going to need to come with capital, but yields can be stellar. I looked at a building in Cabo San Lucas just about 3.5 years ago, and that could throw off north of 20% gross yield. So if you buy right, find the right thing, frequently you'll need to add a bit of value by doing some improvements, but it's a place where your capital can really, really go a long way.
So, okay, so if I hear you correct, you can't really bank on using bank debt, I guess, right? So that leverage component is gone. So you have to search for opportunities where the yield is much higher to kind of offset that. Does that sound accurate?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're coming from an environment like the US at the moment, where maybe yields are compressing, where capital is available, this might be a moment where you might think, hey, maybe I should be moving a bit of it over here.